Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Spirit Lounge podcast. With me, David.
And me, Glenda. And we are two psychic mediums from both sides of the pond.
Glenda is in Australia.
And David is in the UK.
And we're here to talk about, discuss and give our opinions on all things spiritual, including psychics and mediumship.
And if you've listened to the podcast before, you know how much we love to laugh while keeping it real, honest and down to earth.
As well as having those discussions, there will also be guest interviews and maybe some other surprises.
So come with us now on our podcast journey and let's see what's happening in the Spirit Lounge for today's episode.
Well, hello listeners and welcome back to the Spirit Lounge. I hope you're all keeping well. Hello Glenda, are you keeping well as well?
Trying to, David. Oh my God, trying. I think some weeks are more challenging than others, and it's not the spiritual side, it's just everyday life, isn't it?
Life.
Just with busy and keeping up with everything. It's just flat out.
Yeah, life happens, don't it? And we've got to try and balance everything as we do. Well, this episode is going to be I don't think we've talked about this at all in any episodes.
I think
it's a brand new thing that just kind of popped into our heads. So we're going to talk about mediumship and substances. That sounds really strange, doesn't it? So because what I have personally been asked is, when you're doing mediumship, should you eat before? Should you smoke? Does medication affect you? Does doing this so all those things we're going to talk about, because people do ask me, those kind of questions, or they will say things like, well, if you're spiritual, you shouldn't smoke or drink alcohol or have sex or do this or do that. And I'm like, we are humans. We are human beings doing human things down here. We are not angels. If we were, we wouldn't be here. We'd be up or sitting on a cloud playing a harp somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I always say my little phrase is, I'm a medium, not a saint. And so that's kind of what we're going to discuss in this episode, aren't we, Glenda?
Oh, we are. We've got lots to talk about here. I can feel it all coming through right now. Okay. And do you know, and how funny of when you think back the shit that you were told by other mediums that you shouldn't do.
Yeah. But again, like we spoke about in the previous episode, it all comes with growth, because there are things that I was told, as you just said, at the beginning of my development circle, that we should do or shouldn't do, that I look at now and I go, well, some of that was a crock of old shit, weren't it?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, like things like you must meditate before connecting to spirit. No, you don't.
No.
There's just things like that, and people try to make out like we're saintly people. We're not.
You should eat organic food, and you shouldn't drink coffee, and you shouldn't drink Coke, and you shouldn't do all of these things before reading. And holy shit, I'm sitting here. Oh, how does David say? I'm sitting here. David says, I've sat here, and I'm sat here sucking on a can of Coke while I'm giving a reading. Has that blocked my connection to spirit? Negative. Do you think spirit give a shit that I'm drinking Coke while I'm giving a reading? Negative. Yes, it's all fine and dandy to have life balance. Yeah, you can go to the gym. You can eat healthy. You can also have a can of Coke if you want to have a can of fucking Coke. And if you want to have a margarita on the weekend or one night during the week, you can have a margarita. If you know anything about spirit, they want you to be happy. They want you to live life. They're not frowning down because you're sucking on a margarita. I don't think.
Because you think you're loved. Do you think our loved ones in spirit didn't do that themselves? I mean, my granddad loved his Guinness. I mean, do you know what I mean? My nan loved her Bacardi and Coke. That was their drinks, right? And they had a lovely time down there. So they want the same for us, right? I just think, do you know what? I think sometimes it's just this. What's the word I'm looking for? Like this superhero complex, or that to be a medium we have to be a certain thing or a certain way, and we have to be perfect and love and light and pure and as pure as an angel's fart. And I'm like, that's not the reality, because we are human.
We are. And it makes no sense. I mean, you look at all the so-called healers, um, people that are out there doing like half of them are stoned because they're all sucking on the wacky tobacco, do you know what I mean? And doing the work. I just don't get it. Like there's so much emphasis on it and so much looking, like you said, looking down on it. What is acceptable and what isn't acceptable?
Yeah.
Now, there's a different story. If I'm watching David stand up on a platform after he's had a smoke of the wacky tobacco, trying to give connection to spirit, holy shit, I'd pay $100 for that.
Never gonna happen.
Exactly. It's like life in moderation. What you do in your own time, you know what I mean. You've got to live.
Yeah,
Not every
absolutely.
person is a saint,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's a bit different. I remember watching mediums doing a live, and they used to be sucking on champagne and stuff, you know, and they're doing these lives, and I just
Oh,
think I thought it was funny.
good
I'm like,
Lord. What can I say about
okay,
that?
then it's like, oh, that's funny. Look, I choose not to do that. My can of Coke is as far as I'll go, and a cup of tea, but I don't think it. Look, alcohol is going to affect you. It is a substance.
Yeah.
Drugs is going to affect you. If you're mixing that sort of thing with your readings, well, sure, that's probably not on. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm out having a drink with my girlfriends on a Friday and Saturday night, and I have that many people come up to me. Oh, you're a medium. I know you. I follow you. Do you see my mum around, or do you see such and such around? And I'm half gone. I've had 4 margaritas, and they're asking me to give them a reading. Now, I've come up with this. I don't mix my spirits. I
Absolutely.
simply don't mix my spirits. When we
Yeah.
are off, we are off.
I agree.
If you're on and doing the work, I don't feel that you should feel the need to do that.
No,
You do,
that's true.
are you do, are you dilute like you're diluting the connection in a
Yeah.
way?
Yeah. So let's break it down. So we're gonna start looking at, okay, what affects us and what can't affect us, what we should or shouldn't do. So staying with the theme of alcohol. So as
Yeah.
you said, spirits do not mix with spirits.
No.
Right. So, firstly, to drink, this is my opinion, and this is not, I don't want to sound snobby over here, but like you, I like a drink. I like a cocktail.
Yeah.
I'm going on
Yeah.
holiday next week, and I'm going to have quite a few cocktails, let me tell you, in 14 days,
And you're
because
gonna
I
have
know I
you're
would
gonna have
love it.
pineapples in them, aren't you, David?
I will have pineapples in my cocktails, absolutely. So yeah, I will be enjoying a drink, right?
Yeah.
But do I do that when I'm working? Absolutely not, because one,
No.
I think it's unprofessional.
Yeah.
You should not be drinking whilst you're up there, or doing a private reading. In fact, you shouldn't have it. You are working. You wouldn't go to work in a shop and you have a bottle of vodka in your hands. You wouldn't do that, would you? So it's the same principle, right?
Exactly.
Um, but also, anything, for me, any substance which affects your perception should not be taken whilst you are working.
Yeah.
Because if people understand the way mediumship works, we use our mind to work with spirit. It's mind to mind communication. Alcohol will affect your mind. As we know that it affects the brain, it affects the mind, it affects our perception. So therefore, no, alcohol, in my opinion, should not be drunk while you're doing any form of work. And it's a safety thing as well, right? Can you imagine if you're a healer and you're in the room with someone and you're half cut and and you're putting your hands over them, and because I can see it now. I can imagine what some would happen. You'd either fall on top of your client because you're so bloody drunk or whatever, or a hand goes somewhere it shouldn't go, or grab something it
Exactly.
shouldn't grab. Do you know what I mean? You're also putting
Yeah.
yourself in that position, and if you do that, it's your own fault. But so yeah, alcohol is a no-no for me. And we also hear, and it gives us a bad name. I know we hear these stories of people who call themselves a psychic or a medium in a club, half cut, and they walk up to someone random and say, "Oh, I've got a message for you." And it's happened to my
mm,
friend of mine, and it completely um, distressed them because yes, their mum had passed, and then some drunk person came up to them and said, "I got a message from your mum," and all fallen all over the place. And the woman's left feeling, oh, that well, one, that was very intrusive, but two, was that my mum? I couldn't really tell,
mm,
although she told me she was, but she was drunk when she told me. And I mean, how nasty is that? I mean, how unprofessional is that, right?
mm.
And it gives the rest of us a bad name, right? So yeah, alcohol doesn't work, but also it's not alcohol just from us; it's alcohol from the clients as well, or from the people in the
Oh
audience.
yeah, I don't like it.
I've heard of people having punch ups pretty much in the audience because they're so drunk that that person wants to take the link. No, it's my mum. No, it's not. It's my mum. And they almost come to fisticuffs because of alcohol's got involved. I mean, that's not an environment to be working in, right?
Yeah,
So keep it out, but people, no alcohol.
yeah. It's. I find that people become quite loose and disrespectful when
Absolutely.
alcohol
Yeah,
is around. So we respect our work, we respect our
absolutely.
connection to spirit. I don't like to mix it. That's
No,
just the way I work. Yes, I've been thinking about doing something coming forward. There will be a cap on that if I
yeah,
do it,
yeah,
and it will be very organized, and there will be boundaries on how that is going to take place. But all the events I've done, all of their hens parties and all that, there's no alcohol. I'm sorry. You can drink all that fucking alcohol you want when I finish doing my demonstration, when I finish doing my readings, when I finish doing my healings. Bring it all in, sister. You've got all
yeah,
afternoon, all night to drink. Just don't do it when I'm doing my work.
yeah.
Simple as that.
I just want to change something that I said. Well, not necessarily change it, but alter it because I don't want to sound like I'm some miserable old fart over here. I like the thought of doing like a conversations and cocktails kind of evening, right?
Yeah.
Where it is what's the word I'm looking for? Not posh. Well, I've lost my brain. What am I trying to say? Where sophisticated. That's probably what I'm looking for. Where it's that kind of event, right? I can imagine myself like
Yeah.
in a jazz club in my fantasy, in like a nice like like a smoky bar, not smoke from cigarettes, but you know, smoke from smoke
Yeah.
machine,
Yeah.
and people just sat around the tables with a cocktail or two, just enjoying the evening. That's the kind of environment I'd like to work in, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I've got no issue with people having alcohol. It's more some people take it to the extreme.
Exactly.
So
And
I'd rather
that's it.
that's where we draw the line. So then if it's a nice intimate like kind of venue like that, you know, you could say you've got a few cocktails, you've got people are relaxed and they're just enjoying the evening. There's that I'd love, and not being in a place where people are half cut, they get disrespectful because they've got too much to drink. They're not really bothered about being there watching you. They're more bothered about propping the bar up and all that kind of stuff. That's not it for
Yeah,
me,
I
right?
say no to that. I've been approached.
Yeah,
Oh, we've got Halloween party, or we're doing this. People will be drinking and that, and we just want you to set up your little table over there. You can do. No, I'm not setting up my little table over there like an old gypsy from the '70s. That's so disrespectful. No way.
yeah.
Don't put Sandy. What's her name in the corner?
Oh, no one puts baby in the corner.
Babe, no one puts babe in the corner. Being put in the corner. It's just about. I think you've just got to have respect. If
That's
you
it.
you want respect, and we want respect. It's got to go both ways. Simple as
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I come
So
back to that. Oh,
yeah.
sorry, go on.
What's your thoughts on people with other things like drugs and substances in that thing, because you hear of it, people
You
getting
do.
stoned, and then it opens up your intuition, it
No, it
opens
doesn't.
you up even more. I've heard it a million
I know,
times.
but I've heard that as well. Well,
Mm,
firstly, let me just say that this is just my opinion based on just my thoughts about it. So I've never done any type of drug. I never have. I've never smoked weed. Never done that either. So I don't know what that feels like or what the effects are, but I can see what it looks like on other people, right?
mm,
Um, Now, people think that smoking weed or doing other substances raises your vibration because you're away with the fairies and it's easier to communicate with spirit. Actually, it does the opposite. It has the opposite effects. Drugs and weed, they actually lower your vibration. They don't higher it. As much as you might feel high, it doesn't raise your vibration. And as we know with mediumship, we need to raise our vibration, we need to raise our vibe to communicate with spirit. And again, like alcohol, anything that alters your perception should not be taken whilst you are doing mediumship, right?
Yeah.
So weed and kind of illegal drugs, kind of recreational drugs. I'm not talking
Mm,
about prescription medication here. I'm talking about just
mm,
illegal drugs or you know, the recreational drugs. Those things do not work with mediumship or psychic, or at least shouldn't. Yes, you might still be able to read if you had a little bit, but that's not really the point. Because again, to do this work and we're having the respect of the work and respect of yourself and of your clients who's come to see you, you need to have the respect to be free of all that stuff. So you've got your mind, you're focused, you're in the zone. That's what you need. Any substances, in my opinion, just just alter that.
yeah.
They distort. That's what I'm looking for. They distort your perception.
Yeah. And you want to be a clear channel when you're connecting.
That's
You
yeah,
want
that's it.
you don't want all of that murkiness in there. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah, yeah.
couldn't think of anything worse. I couldn't even think of doing something like that. I've never done something like that. It's not something that I'm into, but you hear of people that do it. I'm just not into that sort of stuff. So
Shocking, shocking
it's not
behavior.
for me. It's not for me.
No, me either.
But and some people do that. There is, like ayahuasca and all that sort of stuff where it opens you up and
Yeah,
sends you on a little journey and that.
yeah.
Again, it's different because you're not sat there giving a reading to someone.
No, that's a personal thing. Like Bex
That's
Medium,
right.
who we've had on here,
Bex,
talks about
yeah.
her journey with sacred plant medicines.
Yes.
She doesn't use that to do readings. That is a
No.
personal journey
Personal.
to go through that stuff. So if you want to do it, do it. But that's for self. That
Yeah,
should never be used in conjunction with your mediumship.
that's right.
It might help open you up to your ability or to your connection, but again,
Your consciousness.
yeah, for your
Yeah,
consciousness, but that's for self. But
that's
you
right.
wouldn't sit in front of someone doing mushrooms, would you? Or give them a reading. That's just
Oh my God.
just not going to do
Imagine the
that.
damage. Imagine the damage
Imagine.
you do. Imagine the
Yeah,
damage.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
um, so what's your thoughts? Because I've had this next one with myself and with clients and with people in general, where through the years I've had to take medication, take antidepressants, or when you're going through something, the doctor wants to put you on medication. I've always been like, no, I don't want anything that is going to interfere with my connection with spirit. No, I don't want to feel blocked. No, I don't want it to feel like a block, because that's always been my fear. Okay. And I've had to be put on ADHD medication because Glenda's out of control with her ADHD. So Glenda's had to be medicated to bring herself down to earth. Here's Glenda crying to David, I don't want to take the medication because, I don't want it to block my connection with spirit, and I don't want it to take my creativeness, because medication for people that are creative, that people are on the spectrum, that people are different. Like, I'm way out there and I love being like that, but I also hate being like that sometimes. And
Mm.
I know there is listeners out there that are going to understand this. It is fantastic when you are going 100 miles an hour and you've got 20 tabs open up in your head and you're going this, 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 this. At the end of the day, you've not accomplished everything. So it gets frustrating. So medication is really good in that way, that it helps shut all those tabs down in your head. But the fear is around this, and I've heard other people say it and other creatives say, I don't want it to dull me. I don't want it to take that creative spark away so that I'm just numb. And that was my fears of stepping into medication. And, oh my God, am I going to be able to do a reading? Am I going to be able to connect to spirit? And Glenda's, he cried to David, I don't want to take the medication. And David says, but Glenda, what if it's even better? What if it stops all that chitter chatter that goes on in your fucking head and you can connect to spirit even clearer? Yeah. But, it's mind-to-mind connection. You're using that other side of the brain. Yes, David, I know exactly what you're saying, but you just need that validated, and it works. Medication is not going to put that buffering. Again, both of us have worked in pharmacy. We've been in amongst medication ourselves. We know a lot about medication. Again, we're not going to say medication is going to not block your connection to spirit. It also depends on how heavily you are medicated.
Yes.
If you are heavily medicated on certain medications that affect your neurons and, all of that sort of stuff that's shutting things down in your brain or helping you to navigate through something, maybe there's a time that you need to take a break and look after your health.
Yeah.
And, for me, I'll take the breaks and I'll pull back on how many people I have to read or anything like that to look after my health, or as much as it can be a hindrance and you feel like you don't want to do that, you have to look after your health.
Absolutely.
And that medication might be just what you need. And it might not be forever, depending on what you're going through. It might be just to help you get through a tough time right now. And you can dial back on that medication. You don't have to stay on massive doses forever, depending on where you're at. Always talk to your doctor about this. We're not medical advisors. We're not trained practitioners in that. But there's ways around things, okay? But you have to look after yourself, number one.
Yeah.
Nothing should ever take precedence over that. Your health is number one.
Definitely. And I do, and it's true. I think there is a fear that if people take certain medication, it's going to, as you say, it's going to block their connection to spirit or whatever. It might be, it might be the case. It depends. Again, it depends on your DNA, your makeup, what your health condition is. Again, as you said, how medicated that you are, what your dosage is. But if you think about, I mean, for me in general, right, I don't like taking medication anyway. Not because I feel it's going to block anything, but I think there are people out there like myself. We don't want to keep just putting shit into our body, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I only take paracetamol if I absolutely have to, but I'd rather not, basically. But that's just me. But if I've got to take it, I've got to take it. If you're in pain, take a painkiller. Don't be in pain your whole bloody life, right?
Exactly.
Ease it. Don't put yourself on the back burner just because you're afraid that spirit might not be there. If we always say that spirit are omnipresent, spirit are still going to be there. They're not going to go away. They're still going to be there. But as you said, Glenda, sometimes we have to do things for ourselves to make sure we are better. Because at the end of the day, we're the antenna for spirit. So in some kind of way, we've got to look after ourselves in order to be the best antenna and the clearest channel that we can. And we can't necessarily do that if we're constantly in pain or going through some kind of, health condition. Sometimes you do have to step back and go, look, I've got to look after myself. But I know spirit are still going to be there. But just for this moment in time, I need to make sure that I am okay. Otherwise, if you don't look after yourself, you're never going to be okay. And you can't live the rest of your life on this planet not being okay.
That's right. That's right. And the aim of it is to be okay, to stay here on this planet and keep going. So look after you. Spirit will always be there. We say it to each other all the time. If you need to take a break, they're not going away. They're going to be there whenever you're ready to pick up again. Whenever that time comes. But
yeah. So I mean, like, come back to what you said about the, the ADHD brain
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And again, people are afraid of taking medication for that. But as we discussed off air, that because that's your logical brain that is
Mm,
putting these thoughts and ideas in your head, it doesn't really interfere with your spiritual side because the spirit part of your brain is not connected to your logical brain. It's the other side
that's right.
of the brain. So if you're taking medication to calm your logical brain down, potentially that helps your mediumship because to do mediumship, you need to get your logical brain out of the way. As
That's
soon as your
right.
logical brain takes over, that's no longer mediumship. So if you're able to quieten down that logical brain, logical part of the brain, then rather than the creative side, because that's creative side is where spirit connects through. If
Hmm.
you can calm down the logical brain, you might start to feel that actually it's actually helping me, not hindering me. But
Yeah.
again, it comes back to depending on what your diagnosis is, again, how medicated that you are, So I guess the message we're trying to say is if you need to take medication, take it. It doesn't mean the spirit are going away. They may
Yeah.
just come back when you're ready, or it may just be enhanced, right? It's a bit like
Yeah.
people who lose one of their senses. Let's say a blind person, and I'm saying this because I have seen a blind medium work.
Dominic Bogue. Dominic Bogue.
Don't Bloke as well. Yeah, he's got very little sight now. But just because that's the case doesn't mean that he can't do mediumship
Oh
because
no, he's
it may
amazing.
find that his other senses have
Yes.
heightened because he's
Yeah.
lost one of them. Do you know?
This
So
clairaudience.
it's a
Yeah.
similar thing, right? And it's also a bit like when when I first started developing, I found a mentor online who's more of a psychic teacher who would say to me things like, well, make sure you brush your teeth with natural toothpaste. Don't use proper toothpaste because of fluoride in it, and the fluoride calcifies your pineal glands. And I know I'm not the only person that's heard that, right? Well, firstly, we can't see that we can't no unless we cut our heads open, we can't see what our pineal glands look like, right? But I think, Glenda, you and I can safely say that how we brush our teeth, what we brush our teeth with, has not affected my mediumship or my readings.
He is fluoride every day.
And do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think sometimes people, we've got to be smart about who we pay attention to, what we listen to, what we choose to believe. It's a choice what you choose to believe, right? Now, yes, I have used natural toothpaste. It doesn't taste very nice. But I use normal toothpaste and I use a special toothpaste because I have a gum disease. Not you need to know that's a bit more too much information. But again, it's what I need to make sure that my teeth and my gums are healthy. I'm not going to say I'm not going to use that in case spirit don't come back. And it's the same thing, right? No, it's
Exactly.
toothpaste. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's all it is. It's just toothpaste.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of these things that you hear are not true. They're not true. And look, if you're drinking every night of the week and having to do readings, maybe you need to have a look at your habits. Maybe you need to have a look at some of your toxic behavior on a personal level.
Yeah,
Do the healing. Why are you drinking every night of the week? Ask
yeah,
yourself these questions. Why is there a need to get on the drugs every night of the week? Do the healing around it.
yeah.
Again, it comes back to your personal choices and you doing your own personal hygiene.
Yeah,
Spirit's always
absolutely.
going to be there. They're going to be there. They're not going to
Yeah,
go away,
hmm
but you need to look after you at the end of the day.
absolutely. And linking on to that, let's talk about food and diet because that's also a
Oh,
thing which people talk about. People will say, well, one, you shouldn't eat before a demonstration because it affects your communication. You shouldn't eat meat or you should avoid meat. You shouldn't eat this. You should eat more of that. Blah 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 blah. Right. So let me just put one thing to bed here. When people say you shouldn't eat before a demonstration, why? Let's think about this together, shall we?
why? Do you
So
want to
I
pass
know,
out?
yeah. So I know, right? I always have my dinner before I do a demonstration. I have my dinner because if I'm on platform and I'm
You need.
starving, where is my mind going? It's going to go to my stomach because I feel starving, and
Uh
so
huh.
I'm automatically going to be distracted because I'm bloody hungry, right?
Yes.
So that let's put that one to bed there. Also, you could say you shouldn't work with a full stomach. Why?
Why?
Spirit are not communicating through my stomach,
All your
through my
chakras.
gut, right? They're communicating through my head. Spirit,
Oh my God.
do you think your nan upstairs is going, oh, I don't communicate with that medium because I've had something to eat? I mean,
Yeah.
how
David,
ridiculous does it sound?
spirit's not going to communicate with you because you didn't have pineapple on your pizza.
No, because I had a burger.
You had a burger.
I really don't think spirit are bothered by what you eat. Now, if it's a
You need the
personal, if
energy.
you need
You
the
need
energy, you
energy.
need energy. Absolutely. But look, it's a personal preference. If you don't want to eat before a demonstration, then don't. But don't tell other people it's wrong to do it otherwise, right?
That's right.
And that's what gets on my nerves a little bit in this industry is that I do this, so it's the right way, and you shouldn't do it. No, that's your way. If you want to do that or don't do that, that's up to you. Leave me alone and leave everyone else alone while you're at it. If you don't want to eat for a demonstration, don't eat, but don't tell another person they shouldn't eat. Don't
Yeah.
be ridiculous, right? If that's your ritual, that's your ritual. Don't project that onto other people because you think you fucking know
Hmm.
it all. So that's one thing I want to say. What's the other thing I want to say? Um, Look, doing this work, if you are traveling a lot with this work, as I do, if you are a touring medium where you're touring all the time up and down the country, then yes, you need to look after yourself. Yes, you need to
Mm.
make sure what you put in your body is good stuff. It's not the be all and end all because again, spirit are not communicating through your stomach. They are communicating through the mind. As long as your mind is healthy, that's the important part. But that health does come from what you are putting in your body. Look, if you are going to abuse your body, put it this way, if you're going to abuse your body through substances, alcohol, smoking, no
And food.
exercise, and
Yeah.
food, then yes, there may be some effect because you are damaging your antenna because your body is the antenna for spirit, right?
Absolutely.
And so, yes, there is a truth to be said about look, yeah, okay, if you're abusing yourself, then no, you're not going to be the best channel for spirit, right?
No.
You might still be able to do it on some level, but you're not going to be at your optimum if you are abusing your body. Now, I'm not suggesting that people go out there tomorrow and start running a marathon, right? Or start eating fresh air, basically, right? Or
Hmm.
eating like a parrot. But um, it's just being aware, yes, of what you do put in your body. We're not going to
Yeah.
sit here and give you a dietary requirements of to be a medium, you must only eat this, 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 and this. You must not drink this, this, and this. You must only drink bottled water. Um,
And
from
you must weigh this much, and you
yeah,
must,
yeah,
and you can't be a heavy medium. I've seen some of the biggest mediums that don't leave the lounge room be fantastic mediums at the end of the
yeah.
day. But the choices around how you're looking after yourself should come first.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. So it's not about you can't do this, you can't do that, you must eat this, you must. No, you just got to look after yourself in general, right?
Mm.
I'm at the gym 5 days a week, but that's me. But I have done that for a long time. That's not just because I'm a medium. That's just part of my habit. I try to be
Hmm.
careful about what I eat and what I drink. Yes, I do drink. No, I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. Never have
Yeah.
done. But I have my little vices. You know, I've got a bit of a sweet tooth as well, right? So I do
Hmm.
like a tub of ice cream now and again or a cake. Um, but you know, that doesn't affect my connection to spirit. If I was to eat those things every day and just feel, if anything you do makes you feel sluggish or horrible, then think about it.
That's right.
You're not going to be the best medium,
That's
right?
right.
That's what it
Yep.
comes down to. You've got to feel good. And if you
Yeah.
don't feel good, then you've got to change it, but that's your choice.
That's right. That's where the health problems come in. I've got this and I've got that and I've got that. Well, we've got to look after ourselves.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So
everything
that's
in
what.
moderation.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So you've just got to do what you can to be the best that you can be at your mediumship, right?
Yeah.
So that if you're tired all the time, but you're going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, you've got to look at that and also go, well, actually, if I'm knackered every time I do a reading, then you've got to change it. You've got to go to bed earlier. It's just
Yeah.
things like that that we've just got to think about if you want to be Again, we're not saying it's a be all and end all, but it's how you feel. Look at how you feel. If you're feeling great, marvelous, good on you. But if you feel constantly run down or ill or tired, or your connection to spirit is being affected by all those things, then you've got to take responsibility to look at that and go, okay, I need to change something here. But
Exactly.
I'm never going to say to you, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't you dare eat before you get on platform, because that's just ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's it. That's like, it's a no-brainer at the end of the day. No-brainer.
Look after yourselves, people. That's what we've got to
That's
do.
it.
That's it.
Simple.
But the ownership's on you. Spirit can't change your habits for you.
That's right.
You've got to do
That's
it
right.
yourself.
You got to clean your own shit up. They're
That's
not
it.
going to do that. They're not going to do
No,
that for you.
no, you've got to do it
So,
yourself.
yeah.
That's it. Well, that's it. We'll stop rabbiting on. But Glenda, thank you. It's always been a pleasure. No, it's been a pleasure as always, even. That's what I was trying to say.
You need to go back to bed.
And start again, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, David. Thanks, listeners. Thanks for supporting us all the time. And thank you for all the messages and saying how much you love listening to the Spirit Lounge podcast and how we make you laugh, because that's what it's about, keeping it real and keeping it, fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, listeners, as Glenda said, and we'll see you again in the Spirit Lounge. Thank you for joining us in the Spirit Lounge for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, please like and share the podcast. And if you can, please leave us a comment or review, as it really helps us out.
And if you want to hear us talk about a particular topic or have a question you'd like our viewpoint on, then email them to us on either davidhmedium@outlook.com or glenda-marie1@hotmail.com, and we'll get to them as soon as possible.
Lastly, if you'd like to connect with us individually and book our services, you can check out our websites. Glenda's website is www.glendamariepsychicmedium.com.
And you can find David at www.davidhmedium.co.uk.
For now, it's bye from me.
And it's bye from me.
Join us again soon in the Spirit Lounge.